For our next visit at the Watches and Wonders 2023 roundup, we are at Vacheron Constantin, who always make some very lovely pieces, and these are some of them. Tom, last year for you, Vacheron Constantin was a big hit with the 222. I've never seen you quite so excited about a watch.
Yeah, that was a wonderful piece. Such wearability.
This year, as in general with Watches and Wonders, hasn't been quite so impressive, but overall Vacheron Constantin has still released some pieces that are really, really nice. We're going to go through them now. A couple of them are existing pieces that have new colorways, as the cool kids say, and this is one of those. This is the Traditionnelle Tourbillon, a 41mm by 10.4mm platinum case, packed with the Tourbillon caliber 2160/1, but this one, Tom, is in last year's favourite colour, green.
Yeah, I love it. It looks really good here as well. Very nice sunbrush style finish.
It's an interesting combination because with the Traditionnelle name, you're getting very traditional looks, the kind of the Vacheron classical look and feel, but you're still getting it in a 41mm case, which is fairly sizable. That's a Submariner sized case. So I'm interested to see how the two things look and feel together when you wear them, if it works together.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic. I love when you've got a tourbillon front and slightly below centre like that. You don't need anything else going on. So I love the simplistic representation of the hands and markers with that tourbillon. It's just perfect, isn't it?
The main three watches that Vacheron have released this year all sit within a theme that is very, very popular in the history books of Vacheron Constantin, the Retrograde complication. Tom, are you familiar with the Retrograde complication?
So it's sort of represented almost like a gauge, isn't it? Where you have your number values represented in a crescent, a hand pointer points at those and it ticks over till it gets to the end and then it slaps back to the other side in a very satisfying way.
Yeah. Retrograde as in to go back to the start and start again, and I wish sometimes I could retrograde my life, but we can't. So let's talk about these instead. This is the very, very popular overseas moon phase retrograde date. Now it does exactly what it says on the tin. Vacheron don't beat around the bush when it comes to their naming conventions because this is an overseas with a moon phase and a retrograde date. The moon phase is in gold, but the case, 41mm by 10.48mm, is in steel. The retrograde date at the top there, as you said, a semicircular display that snaps back and forth over the Vacheron Constantin logo. It is a boutique-only piece, packs the caliber 2460 R31L/2. It's very handsome.
The retrograde date is a fun addition, I think. I'd be very keen to try and stay awake at midnight on the 31st to see that hands flick back over to the beginning, because I bet that's fun to watch. And I really love the presentation of the moon phase there. It looks like there are some sort of recessed constellations there. It looks like there's a bit of a texture going on. It's very, very nice indeed. I love a moon phase.
On to the second of the retrograde complications. This is the Patrimony retrograde date, a very, very classical looking watch and one that already exists in the lineup, but here with a salmon dial, 42.5mm across, 9.7mm thick, platinum case, caliber 2460 R31R7/3. This is very, very classical Vacheron. Again, a big case, 42.5mm, but throwing in the lovely, lovely retrograde complication. What do you think, Tom? Salmon?
Salmon's fine. It's not my favourite. Blue's my favourite, obviously. But yeah, it's a very unique looking watch, isn't it? There's you got two retrogrades now, the day and date. It's a shame they couldn't have retrograded the time for a triple threat. Maybe that'd be too much.
Maybe next year for the Seabass edition. And moving on to the last retrograde complication, this is the Tourbillon retrograde date open face, which to me sounds like the most expensive sandwich ever. Again, it combines a whole bunch of stuff that we've seen before. We've got Tourbillon, lovely. We've got a retrograde date, and it is open face, a skeletonized dial so you can see all the gubbins. It looks very modern. 41mm by 11.07mm rose gold slate grey dial, caliber 2162 R31. This might be my favourite of the bunch. I really like this watch.
Yeah, it's very shrewdly combined all the previous elements of the models that we've just seen into one complete package that looks great. I love the charcoal grey dial against the rose goldness of it. It's very good.
You get to see in there as well the ratchet levers and snail cams that go into making a retrograde complication. I think visually a retrograde complication, because it is a hand and it looks like other hands, but it only goes a little bit along. It doesn't look like it's that complicated, but with this watch you can really see how much work goes into that one display. It follows the same principles as a minute repeater, which is of course one of the most complicated complications you can make.
Right.
But not as complicated as this, Tom, because are you familiar with the Le Cabinotier collection of Vacheron Constantin?
Le Cabinotier. Now, as I understand it, that's just, mass-produced, straight out the cabinet.
That's exactly it. They make a ton of them. It's what they do with all the scrap leftovers when they shave the other watches into existence. They like pressed peanut sweepings.
Right, yeah. Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
I'm not quite sure why it's called Le Cabinotier, but Le Cabinotier is for the most special of special customers who say, look, I've looked through your catalogue and I don't really like any of it.
Yeah.
As much as I like the thing I have in my brain.
The special cabinet. That's what I call my brain.
And so Vacheron Constantin opens the cabinet and their most prized watchmaker drops out. And they will make a one-off, often incredibly complicated, unique piece for this customer. And this is the latest version of that, the Dual Moon Grand Complication. You'll never see another one like it from Vacheron Constantin. It packs in 11 complications, including a massive double moon phase on the front. There is a retrograde date, which is even more subdued, with just the arrow. You see it running around the top of the dial. You don't see the hand itself even, all hidden behind that moon phase. There is a perpetual calendar, and on the rear you'll see a sky chart, and there is a minute repeater too. This was on show at Watches and Wonders. The customer who ordered this thing very kindly allowed them to display it, and it will never be seen again. It'll be on the wrist of whoever's purchased it.
Yeah.
I think it's Post Malone has bought this.
Sure. It seems like his style, probably.
Well, there you have it. That's Vacheron Constantin's efforts for this year, and boy howdy are they good efforts indeed. Looking forward to seeing what they rustle up for next year. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.